my life started to fall apart.
I was 27 when I became homeless, when I became living in the street.
I had 2 jobs. I was going to college for law. I had a home. I had everything.
I was very depressed and wanted to kill myself. I couldn't take it no more. I couldn't take that my family didn't care about me no more. They had just given up on me.
I used to wake up so cold. I block it out of my mind as best I can.
Found a place at the baseball diamond at the high school. And we suited ourselves in there real comfortable up under the bleachers and all that. But each time we would come there, it'd be baseball games there. And we got so suited of being there so many times that when they playing baseball games, we would get mad and say, they in our house, you know, what they doing in our house?
At that time in my life, I felt hurt, depressed, didn't care, didn't really care about nothing around me.
I was walking home, church about 3 Saturday nights ago. And 3 gentlemen, one knocked me in the head, knocked my hat off, my cap. And I thought to myself, why do people want to say, against certain people? I mean, I was doing nothing.
One instance, I was hiding in the bushes in this alley, watching some people barbecue, and just waiting for them to go in the house. I'm in the bushes like a little leopard or something. As soon as they went in the house, I pounced out the bushes, ran and grabbed me a piece of barbecue. It took off running down the alley. It was hot, and I was eating it. While I was trying to run, they was hollering, come back with the meat. So I hid in the bushes somewhere and ate it. That's what homeless will do to you. It just, you hungry, you don't want to be that way, but you just does that, you know.
You can become homeless. It doesn't matter if you got a bunch of money or a big home or a brand new car in the driveway. You can still become homeless. It's just the situations that you put yourself in or you fall into.
People let their dogs go on you, spit on you, call you all kind of names. You was like less than an animal. You dirty, you stinky, you lazy, you a drifter, you an addict, or they put all kind of stigmas on you, but not really doing what you out there for.
Some might say homelessness is a choice. People can always find a better job, an inexpensive place to live, and food pantries can help, right? If a homeless person is fortunate enough to have any protection from the elements at all, they may stay in shelters, motels, cars, or doubled up with relatives and friends. But many times people end up on the streets, in community parks, or abandoned buildings.
Port Huron has a lot of homeless folks here. Maybe you don't see people hanging out like you would in big cities. You have friends that have homes that will take you in for a night and not see you wander around.
Many parts of the country are experiencing tough economic times. Finding a good paying job can be a very difficult challenge.
It's a long day. I collect cans and bottles for my extra money, and you do a lot of walking. And it is a long day. I think there's that old saying, it can happen to me. And most people are about a paycheck away from maybe being actually homeless.
Statistics show that minimum wage workers have to work an average of 89 hours a week just to afford a 2-bedroom apartment. Maintaining a home can be very difficult for people who do not have high-paying jobs. Some government housing assistance is available, but often it is a long wait to receive help. This means that people must remain in shelters or in inadequate housing arrangements or even homeless longer.
Stop and think. And if you're living in a shelter, you have nothing. You have no money, you have no home, very little family support. So even if they are staying in the shelter, it's not a place they want to be.
I've seen people that walked into the homeless shelter and they've had master's degree. And just because you're homeless, that doesn't mean that you're not smart or you're an alcoholic or you're doing drugs or anything. It can happen to anybody.
Difficult choices must be made when limited resources cover only some of life's necessities. That includes housing. The cost of housing normally takes up the bulk of a family's income. Homelessness results from a complex set of circumstances which require people to choose between food, shelter, health care, and other basic needs. The cost of having health care is at an all-time high for families in the United States. Many people cannot afford health care, and an unexpected illness can take the bulk of a family's income. If the main breadwinner of a family becomes ill and cannot work, paying for housing can become a major problem and can lead to homelessness.
I was injured, and my son was taking care of me. And it got to the point where it was really hard on my son. So I pretty much put myself in the situation to be homeless.
Domestic violence is another serious issue that can eventually cause people to become homeless. Battered women are often forced to choose between abusive relationships and living on the streets.
When you talk about women and children who are homeless, 50% of those women and children are homeless because of family violence.
Many homeless persons have persistent mental health problems. Their misunderstanding of the world around them can cause people to become homeless. The relationship between drug and alcohol addiction and homelessness is complex and controversial. While rates of alcohol and drug abuse are disproportionately high among the homeless population, the increase in homelessness over the past 2 decades cannot be explained away simply by addictions. Unfortunately, the cost of their drug of choice is often more important to them than having a place to call home.
I used drugs. I wasn't happy in my home situation, my home life, and I resorted in using drugs to handle my everyday routine. My family didn't care. You know, they got disgusted with me because I chose drugs, but I chose drugs because with drugs I didn't have no responsibility.
Situations at home may cause young people to run away. Under the law, runaway children are considered homeless even if their parents are willing to provide a home for them. Young people may choose to not live with their family due to the inability to resolve ongoing family problems. Situations like this may lead them to a life on the streets.
I was really scared. I didn't want to go into a shelter. But when you're put in that kind of decision, feeling the way that I was feeling about my parents and just feeling like you were walking into a nightmare every time, you know, you get off a school bus just to walk into your front door. Sometimes it's whatever option you have that's different is what you're going to go for, even if you don't like it.
Over the course of a year, families with children make up about half of our nation's homeless population. So the likelihood that you will attend school with another young person in this situation is very high. 87% of school-age homeless children are enrolled in a school. Enrolling itself can be a challenge, as many schools will not accept children without the prior school records, identification, and a home address. Homeless children often feel like they don't fit in and are embarrassed about their situation and try to keep it a secret. Take just a moment to think about this. How would you feel if you were homeless? You are a young person, dependent upon your parents for your basic needs, right? What if they could not provide for your basic needs? Homelessness can happen to anyone, even you.
A large majority of people are homeless because of a life circumstance that happened to them, maybe some bad financial decisions, maybe some divorce or domestic violence, or there's other serious issues that have occurred in their life that have caused them to be homeless.
Homelessness can happen to anybody. And unfortunately, living in the economic climate that we're in this state, you see people every day whose homes are going into foreclosure. There aren't any safety nets for people.
It is important to remember that homeless people are just like everyone else. They just don't have a place to call home, but they do deserve to be treated with dignity and respect. The problem of homelessness may seem overwhelming, and you may find yourself feeling helpless to make a difference, but there are many ways you can help. The first way to help a fellow student or anyone who is homeless is to be kind and understanding of their situation. As we have learned in this video, homelessness can happen to anyone, and there are many reasons why. Teach others what you know about homelessness. Knowledge is a very powerful thing. Other ways you can help. Might be by donating items and your time to local shelters or food kitchens. Many churches and organizations have food and or clothing drives to help the less fortunate. Don't be afraid to get involved. By educating ourselves and learning how we can help, we can make a difference.
If you ain't got nothing good to say, don't say nothing at all, you know. And I tell people all the time, in a situation when I was homeless, don't look down on me unless you're picking me up, you know. You shouldn't do that to people. I mean, it could be you.
Treat an older person like you'd want to be treated to some extent, you know, with some respect and dignity.
Just because you're homeless, that doesn't mean that you're nobody, because you are somebody.